Oos, here we are making another video that I thought I would never ever make in a million years. We have professional fighters ducking Jake Paul. In the beginning, we didn't think this was the case. We thought Jake Paul was doing the ducking, right? Yeah, Nate Robinson, which Nate was an athlete. It was a step up. Right, then he goes on and there's Ben Askren, right? He's an actual fighter. Then there's T. Woodley. Right, none of these guys are ducking Jake, and we're thinking that Jake Paul is avoiding certain fighters. Jorge Masvidal all the time was saying, you know, that Jake Paul couldn't afford him.
You can't afford man-to-man, none of that boxing.
And then we get to Tommy Fury. This is where all the ducking and the weaving started to begin. Tommy Fury, the first time around, it was an injury, so we gotta honor that for the most part, but this is where the rumors started. Then the second fight, he gets put on some list because his parents or his family's involved in the mafia or something crazy. I don't know. Tommy fumbles has become like a common hashtag. And then the fight with Anderson Silva happens. Anderson's going to go in there and take him out. Once they saw that, they go, oh, okay, this kid is no joke. He's not some small YouTuber. He's around 200 pounds. One guy that we thought would come right to the mic once he got released from the UFC was Nate Diaz. And we're going to get into that. But before we do, a quick word from our sponsor. This video is sponsored by Raid Shadow Legends. Come on, people, take out your phone, get the camera ready for the little QR code thing, which I just figured out how to do recently. I am a boomer. But anyways, Raid Shadow Legends is doing some crossover, but not crossover boxing, but crossover with a very particular former UFC champion based off of the MMA legend and now pro wrestling legend, Ronda Rousey. Rowdy Ronda, a girl that would snap your arm. Okay, so here's a little background story that they have for the Ronda that's in the game. She trained alongside her 7 brothers. Okay, then during a tournament that was run by her father, she realized her true potential as she took on 4 knights barehanded. Now, typically in this game, you're not doing things barehanded, but they clearly made Ronda OP, which is sick. So you can get Ronda for free right now. Okay, whether you're a new player or a returning player, doesn't matter. All you gotta do is log in and then play the game for 7 days between now and February 20th. And as a gift to you guys, we got a promo code here, Raid Ronda, for new and old users. Again, the code is Raid Ronda. Also pretty cool, if you're an Amazon Prime member, you can get exclusive rewards in Raid right now as well. So if you haven't started playing yet, you can click the link in the description or scan the QR code. You're gonna get 30 bucks of unique bonuses. That includes a free Epic Champion, 200k silver, 1 energy refill, and 1 XP boost, and 1 ancient sword. To get your bonuses, make sure you go to the inbox section here. Happy holidays, people. You're welcome. Oos. All right, so let's get into it. Why is Nate Diaz ducking Jake Paul? I don't want to say scared of Jake Paul. I would say scared in the same way that Andrew Tate or Anderson Silva is scared of him. You know that he has some punching power and ability in the boxing ring, not like in a street fight or under a different rule set like MMA or kickboxing. And I got a couple reasons behind my thought process. Number one, Nate Diaz versus Hamzat. That was supposed to happen recently. It was supposed to be a literal like assassination, it was called by the UFC, to end Nate Diaz's MMA career at the UFC. But regardless, the fight didn't happen. Did he feel like he could do something to cause an issue to just avoid the fight whatsoever?
I was waiting what UFC said to me, that almost 2 million. So I said, give all my money to the guy, let him fight. He didn't want to fight me, you know? So who's the gangster now?
Then you look at Nick Diaz. Nate is just a Nick Diaz soldier, right? That's his bigger brother. So I can imagine that his ideas and the way that he thinks about fighting, that they're going to share a bit of that. Nick Diaz's last fight against Robbie Lawler, we heard him fight. We talk about the fight game. It's just something that he doesn't love, right? He doesn't want to fight. He said he literally didn't want to fight Robbie, that the fight didn't make sense. This is what he's saying on Fight Week. It was one of the most uncomfortable and awkward press conferences and interviews with Nick.
Is there any part of it that you're able to enjoy? I mean, clearly it's nothing.
I don't enjoy fighting. I don't know why I'm doing this. This should not happen.
There's some guys who just love the glory of fighting. They love the bright lights and they want to be champions, and it's a lot about legacy. I'm not too sure it's always been that way for Nick especially, and I could imagine that Nate would share a bit of that ideology, right? Now here's the major one. When Nate Diaz was talking about wanting to get out of the UFC, we thought it was perfectly aligned with getting a boxing match with Jake Paul. Right? That's what we thought he was trying to do, so we can get out of the UFC, so we can start making some real money in crossover boxing, or he was saying in boxing in general. But here's the thing. Nate Diaz gets released, and we don't hear a peep. It is just crickets, silence. We've actually heard from Nate, but in reference to Dustin and I think Connor, their little Twitter battle back and forth, which doesn't make sense because Nate is out of the UFC. So does he try to get a fight with Connor but a boxing match, or Dustin's still fighting in the UFC? So what does that mean? But not only do we have this silence, but word has come out that Nate Diaz is potentially locking down a fight with another YouTuber. Don't have any idea who this YouTuber could be. However, maybe he's following the steps as Floyd Mayweather. Floyd just fought Deji. Right? Why didn't he fight Jake? Why didn't he fight KSI, right? A bigger fight. Floyd was super open about why he was doing it. He thought that Deji wasn't as dangerous as these guys and it would be an easier fight. He doesn't want to take this risk now that he's in retirement. So is Nate Diaz going to take that same approach, right? Why would you take on a different YouTuber? Why wouldn't you name that YouTuber? Why wouldn't you come out and call out this YouTuber to try to build a buzz? If you're going to be fighting another YouTuber, there's no way it's about the money, because you know that Jake is a big money fight when it comes to the crossover boxing. If you fight Jake Paul and you have a professional fighting pedigree, Ben Askren, Woodley, Anderson Silva, and you lose, it is practically career ending in terms of combat sports. Woodley now is looking to be fighting on the undercard of upcoming crossover boxing events. Anderson Silva, who does he fight next? Ben Askren never fights again. So maybe Nate Diaz and the Diaz army is looking at it as, man, if we take on Jake, bada boom, bada bing, we lose. It is game over. I was just talking to Wade saying that is a situation that the Diaz team cannot afford. Jake beats Nate Diaz, dude. He's going to be walking in Stockton himself, calling out 209. He's going to come out with merch. It's going to be crazy. I think the potential of the resume, right? It's not just Nate Diaz by himself, but Woodley, Anderson Silva, and then Nate Diaz. 3 huge names in MMA history. Anderson Silva said that he didn't have much to lose and this wouldn't affect his legacy. And I think he was wrong about that. And the same thing with Nate Diaz. This is not a fight that you can take where there is kind of like nothing to lose. You have everything to lose here. Everything that you've built. The win over Conor McGregor, the things that he's done, the Stockton slap, the baddest MFer on the planet. That is a big hit to the Diaz army that I don't think that they can afford to take. That's why I got to believe that Nate Diaz is ducking Jake Paul. Now, I'm not one who's friends with Jake Paul, and nor do I talk to him a lot, but I had to reach out to him. I DM'd him on Instagram hoping he would hit me back, and he did. And Jake had no reason to respond to me. It felt like I was just talking to one of my other YouTuber boys in the community. He just casually said, yeah, man. And it's insane to him that Jake is surprised that he's asked to go through this because of what he's done and what he's able to accomplish, that he really feels like Nate Diaz is ducking him. Maybe I'm reaching and maybe I'm reading into this too much. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. Leave a like and subscribe. Oos.